What's up? What's up? I wanted to jump on here, guys, because I'm trying to keep up, with what's going on with everything. If y'all don't know, honey, let's get into it. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene is running scared, honey. She done quit. She's resigning. Because what she's saying is, MAGA is doing things to her, which is crazy, honey, because MAGA been doing things to everybody, but it's too hot in the kitchen. Marjorie got to get out, and she tells us, y'all, that she is going to be resigning from her position, which is absolutely crazy because she's fighting with her own political party, the MAGA people, those dangerous people that are doing some crazy things in the world. But for some reason, Marjorie Taylor Greene wants us to give a damn about what it is that she's going through. Which, girl, this is the atmosphere in which you have operated in which you have attributed hate to, and now she wants us to give a damn about what's happening to her. Y'all, let's get into a snippet of it.
I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C., and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest. And the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies, because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I fought against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass a plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster. But instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas, just sit. They all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote. Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media, obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points. Because They know how much credit card debt they have. They know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years. They actually do their own grocery shopping and know food costs too much. Their rent has increasingly gone up and up. They have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their visa holding replacement. The college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with no big six-figure salary. They see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets. They can't afford.
Okay, guys, I just want to jump in here for a moment. I am not a Trump felon, multiple felon, messing with children supporter. No, I'm not a Trump supporter. Absolutely no. But here's the deal, Marjorie Taylor Greene is full of shit, okay? She's full of it. She's full of it. She's full of it. Her real issue with Donald Trump is that he did not give her that position in the Senate that she wanted. And now she's spewing all of these things about Donald Trump that she already knew from the beginning. So, no, nobody feels sorry for Marjorie Trailer Park Greene because she was MAGA crazy not that very long ago. And we're going to get into a video that exposes her for who she really is. So, what she wants to do is try to separate herself as if she's, you know, trying to help victims. She really ain't. She's trying to posture herself for something else because I doubt at this moment in time she realizes that MAGA is so crazy. She knew exactly what MAGA was when she positioned herself to be a part of that particular party.
Health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. These are the people I represent and love because that is who all of my family and friends are, common Americans. I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing, patriotic, hardworking people you will ever meet. Good, regular, common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee. I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family that I can never get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile,
oh, now they're a leftist mob. But you was right with them, ho. You was right with them pushing that propaganda and that bullshit. Now that they done said they ain't gonna whoop your ass, now you want us to give you sympathy, and I just don't have it for you, pale face. I don't have it for you. You were right over there rallying with the MAGAs, but they don't want you now. And you over here now crying as if we give a fuck, and I don't. I feel no remorse for this hoe.
most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election. And I will never forget the day I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain.
Let's be clear here. Marjorie is not standing 10 toes down on shit. What Marjorie is trying to do is posture herself so that she doesn't look like the rest. Marjorie has been down with Donald Trump, and she said it in this video from the beginning. I'm also going to show you guys a video where they said the reason that she really has this real issue with Trump is because, for one, she kind of says it in this video. She feels like it's just she really feels like MAGA is full of men and they don't really appreciate the women. So she wanted to get in the Senate and she was turned down. So this is where her real animosity coming from. See, you have to watch people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is sitting up here telling y'all how high healthcare is going to be, but she did not reject that bill. Like she literally signed off on it. So how did she support it before, but she doesn't support it now? She supported it before because she was willing to do anything to get to her next position. Okay. Let's not be dumb. She was never there for anybody but herself. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. We don't want to be stupid.
Surgery to remove cancerous tumors in order to fly to Washington, D.C. to defend President Trump and vote no against the Democrats' second impeachment in 2021. My poor father and my...
She definitely have a pale face, and if you don't like it, you can get the out of my chat. Okay, she definitely has a pale face, and you probably got one too.
Poor mother. It was way too much for all of us. Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt for life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the release of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests because our job title is literally representative. America first should mean America.
Pay attention, y'all. She says loyalty should be a two-way street because she feels like she has given loyalty not to the people who elected her for her district. She feels that she has been loyal to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is doing her just like he do everybody else. Once he get what he want from him, he don't give a damn about him. So she's bitter. She's mad because she did not get this position, and now she wants to make it seem like Donald Trump is this horrible person, which he is, but he's been that person the whole entire time. He's been threatening people. He's been doing all this crazy shit. And now she wants to tell us how I've been threatened. Girl, bye.
America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States.
Y'all see how she tried to phrase that? She's making it seem like, and I'm sure, because people have said this, that Donald Trump is mad because people decided to vote against him on the Epstein files. But the fact of the matter is, we're going to switch gears because this lady is full of it, okay? We're going to switch gears here because I want to show y'all something else because this lady is full of it. I mean, I'm glad that she's standing up for victims. I'm glad that she's doing something other than running around with MAGA. But the simple fact is this lady is not genuine. Now, this is AOC. She's going to spill the tea on Marjorie Taylor Greene and her lies because, again, the situation has nothing to do with how bad she feels now that Donald Trump is, because let's be clear, Donald Trump is who he has always been. I mean, hello, he is who he has always been. So what she wants to do is make it seem like, oh, Trump is doing all of these things to me because I, was one of the people that wanted the Epstein file released. No. You mad because Trump didn't give you that position. Let's get into it.
Here's some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all of these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration.
We heard from one of your members today, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who wrote this morning that on y'all's GOP conference call, she said Speaker Johnson said he has ideas and pages of policy, but did not say a single policy plan. She said, I find it unacceptable that Republicans are sitting on the sidelines doing nothing to fix this healthcare disaster that is leading many Americans into financial ruin.
The issues of the subsidies are real. It's not something that anybody can say is made up. Also, people with regular or private plans, their premiums are looking to go up a median of 18%. That's brutal. I know a lot of small business owners, like a family of 4, and they're paying $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month with deductibles of $7,000 to $10,000, and approximately 40% of these people don't even use their health insurance. So they're just burning money just in case they might have cancer, or just in case they have a terrible car accident. If you double their health insurance or even triple it, these people they're either gonna have to drop it, or they're gonna be choosing between rent and their health insurance.
As a conservative and as a business owner in the construction industry and as a realist, I can say we have to do something about labor, and that needs to be a smarter plan than just rounding up every single person and deporting them just like that. All I've seen is a revolving door of foreign leaders in the White House. Have regular people's bank accounts been affected? Has the stress come off? No, that has not happened yet. And that needs to be the major focus. It shouldn't be about helping your crypto donors or your AI donors, or welcoming in these people that hated you and spent money to try to beat you, but all of a sudden are excited to come out to the new Rose Garden patio.
Yes.
That shouldn't be the focus.
Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no.
Told ya. Trump told her no. So everything that y'all are seeing now is her wanting to get back at him, because she feels like she was so loyal to him and she did not get what she wanted. Okay. So all this bullshit that she's shoving down people's nose about, all of this bullshit is strictly bullshit. Marjorie Taylor Greene don't care about the people who elected her, honey, because if she did, why is she now telling us about the healthcare costs that's going to go up when she actually was one of the Republicans that signed off on it? Girl, go away.
Trump said no. And the White House and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate. And she has been on a revenge tour ever since. And so all of this stuff that you're like, oh my God, like, it is all personally motivated. All of this stuff is personally motivated. There is no signs of revelation that I see up close. This is not a person that is backing up anything of what they're saying with any sort of action, which gives the whole game away. This is a person that is trying to twist the knife on people who frustrated her personal ambition. And until that is the story, and until any one of these little public statements or media statements is actually backed up by a genuine change in policy position, I'm just not going to, and not just a change in policy position, but a commitment to that change. I'm just not going to buy it. I welcome it. I think it's never too late to change. But you know, I just don't buy it. So
I don't buy it either. Marjorie Taylor Greene is who the hell she is. All of this bullshit that she's trying to shove down people's necks about MAGA, we don't want to hear it, darling. We already know who MAGA is. You are a part of MAGA and you are a part of the problem. Well, let's get into what our girl Jasmine Crockett had to say about all Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Announcement from Congresswoman Greene. What went through your mind when you first heard she was going to resign on January 5th?
You know what? Honestly, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You're on the other side of the president for 1 week and you can't take the heat. Imagine what it is to sit in my shoes, to not only be on the opposite side of him, but to have people like her who are constantly fanning the flames of hate. And imagine what those threats look like when you literally are someone like me. But at the end of the day, I know that I serve the people of Texas 30. And so my job isn't to be there and necessarily do whatever is going to make the president not be on my back, but instead is to focus on making sure that I can push forward with policies that are positive for Texas 30.
That was Representative Jasmine Crockett speaking out in light of Marjorie Taylor Greene's decision to resign after her blow-up with Donald Trump. To Crockett's point of what it's like to work in politics.
So it's really crazy how Marjorie Taylor Greene is complaining, wants to tell us how she's being threatened and all of this bullshit, as if this has not already been happening to people this entire time. So what is Marjorie Taylor Greene gearing up for? What is going to be the next surprise? What is she going to tell us? Is she going to tell us she's running for president, which y'all vote for? What is she going to tell us? Because I feel like there's something else that she's going to come out and tell us. But let's finish watching this.
Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia stunned Washington once again this week. She announced that she's going to resign from Congress on January 5th.
I'm going back to the people that I love.
Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining us. I want to start with the shocking announcement from Congresswoman Greene. What went through your mind when you first heard she was going to resign on January 5th?
You know what? Honestly, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You're on the other side of the president for 1 week and you can't take the heat. Imagine what it is to sit in my shoes, to not only be on the opposite side of him, but to have people like her who are constantly fanning the flames of hate. And imagine what those threats look like when you literally are someone like me. But at the end of the day, I know that I serve the people of Texas 30. And so my job isn't to be there and necessarily do whatever is going to make the president not be on my back, but instead is to focus on making sure that I can push forward with policies that are positive for Texas 30.
Here's an excerpt from her resignation video. Take a listen.
Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for.
So she seems to be suggesting that it is their disagreement over the release of the Epstein files that is causing this shocking political breakup. What's your response to that?
I mean, listen,
I don't know why you people keep putting in my chat, she's stupid. That is a clear indication that you're stupid. I tell you what, why don't you go Google her credentials and Google yours? Some of y'all don't even have a high school diploma, but you're saying that she's stupid. Go somewhere and read on your level, which is probably the 4th grade.
He's upset with Thomas Massie, and so he's gone after him. He's upset with Boebert. He's upset with any Republican that actually signed the discharge petition. But somehow they were able to weather the storm. So, you know, this really speaks to the fact that Marjorie, who has been an instigator of a lot of this hate that we see as it relates to the MAGA movement, you know, it's just interesting that I don't know if she really fully understood how bad she was making it for other people. And now that they're doing it to her, you know, I just got to say, well, why is it that everyone else is able to stand and you can't?
The House Oversight Committee, which you are a member of, said Friday night that your committee is expanding its investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Do you have any idea what this expanded investigation might include?
I do not at this point in time. Well, I'll say leadership is keeping it under wraps to make sure that we can hopefully not have many more obstacles. If you'll remember, we decided that we were going to put out a subpoena for Ghislaine Maxwell. And the next thing you know, the president's henchman showed up to her cell. And the next thing you know, we didn't have our sit down talk with her, which I imagine would have gone a little differently if we had. So we're keeping that tight-lipped for now.
The chairman of the Oversight Committee, James Comer of Kentucky, says that Democrats are just trying to use these files to smear the president. Just to be clear, do you or your colleagues have any idea about what's in these files, one way or the other, relating to Trump or not?
Absolutely not. I mean, here's the reality. If we did have that information, I don't know that we would need it necessarily to be released. And we know that the Republicans keep saying, figure out what it is the Democrats have done and make sure that you can pull out the Democratic stuff and make sure you get rid of all the Republican names. Listen, I don't really care who is in the files. At the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong. And if you are truly about law and order, then we should be looking for who it is that has broken the law and in what ways. And we need to better understand who potentially in government allowed for a lot of these things to take place, whether we're talking about the fake immigration paperwork that we've heard from a lot of the survivors, whether we're talking about other foreign governments that have participated and who it was that allowed for that, whether we're talking about the sham organizations, the sham modeling agencies that were nothing but a front for trafficking. We need to know whether or not they still exist in some other iteration. This is about not only making sure that the survivors get justice, but making sure that there aren't others that are going through a similar system right now.
There was a back and forth this week after you accused former Republican Congressman, now EPA Administrator.
I just got to address something. This is how you know those MAGA people are just ignorant and dumb. Somebody puts in the chat, wait, isn't Jasmine harboring a felony fugitive from justice in one of her homes she owns? Why isn't she in prison? Why are you dumb? Just ask yourself that. Why are you dumb? You don't research nothing. You just running your mouth. Don't know what the hell you talking about. Go, I'm just going to block you. I'm going to block you because you dumb. Like, no, Jasmine Crockett, that's Donald Trump in your mama.
Lee Zeldin of accepting campaign donations from Jeffrey Epstein. It turned out it wasn't convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. It was a Long Island neurosurgeon, Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, different person. You corrected the record. However, now the neurosurgeon is telling the New York Post that he is threatening revenge against you. He's going to donate to your campaign, so you have to admit you accepted money from a Jeffrey Epstein, if not the Jeffrey Epstein. What's your response to that?
Listen, if there's anybody else who's alive and decides that they want to donate just so that you'll be on my FEC report, I am here for it. I will take your donation, especially since Jeffrey Epstein is now deceased. I don't think that it will be confusing whatsoever that it was not him, unless he's come back from the dead. So we'll see.
So you are, we're told, weighing a decision on whether to jump into this Texas Senate race, challenging Republican Senator John Cornyn for his seat, although it's unclear that Cornyn will survive a Republican primary. You said you had a meeting this week with pollsters to discuss your chances. Did you have that meeting? And if so, how did it go? Are you still thinking about running?
Hey, Lisa, Rooney, Looney, your mother, ho. How about that?
I am still thinking about running. We did get our polling back. So we are moving on to the next phase to determine whether or not this is would make sense in the moment and if the infrastructure can be built out in the way that I see it being necessary to actually be able to win, as well as we are continuing to look at the polling on the other side. Listen, they are in a civil war right now on the Republican side as it relates to who will become their nominee. John Cornyn has served the state of Texas for decades at this point in time in some capacity. And right now, I don't know if he's MAGA enough to make it through his primary, but we are evaluating all things and seeing what it would look like to put together a team. And we will make a final decision by Thanksgiving on whether or not we're going to ultimately move forward.
What did the polling information that you got back show? I mean, is it a calculation of whether or not you're going to be facing Cornyn, who might have more appeal to moderates in your state, centrists in your state, as opposed to a more MAGA candidate who potentially defeats Cornyn in the primary that you might, or any Democrat might, have a better chance against?
I'll tell you this, that head to head, we are doing really well against Paxton. I will say that. I will also tell you that we are actually within the margin of error as it relates to John Cornyn. So to be perfectly honest, the only reason that I'm continuing to consider whether or not I do this is because my polling says I can win. That is the bottom line. But at the end of the day, a poll is a poll. And so
at the end of the day, Jasmine Crockett for president, one thing we do know is she doesn't have 34 felonies. She not somebody that mess with kids like y'all president. And yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, we don't care, okay? We don't care what MAGA does to you. You folks have a good day. And for you ones that's reading on a 4th grade level, go back to school. Talk